Welcome back. Today we're in the knife shop and I'm holding a piece of 1085 round bar. This is 1/2 inch in diameter, and today I'm gonna make a really cool weapon that was used during World War I. It is called a French nail, and a French nail was made in the trenches out of crude materials, really anything that the French soldiers could find in the trench. And what they would use this French nail for was on trench raids. So the French would leave their trench area, cross no man's land, and enter the enemy's trench, and they would use the French nail to essentially kill the enemy. This was a very gruesome tactic, but one that was necessary due to the nature of the warfare at the time. So really all I'm gonna do is get this piping hot, and basically I'm gonna curve this to make a very crude handle, right? This is a crude weapon. And then I'm just gonna flatten this out and make sort of a stiletto type dagger. And these weren't sharpened, right? Because I didn't really have anything to sharpen these French nails with in the trench. These were just used for stabbing, for poking. They weren't used for really cutting anything or anything of that nature. So here we go. Let's make a World War I French nail. Although the French did not have a Coal Ironworks 12-ton forge press, I'm using this to get started. I'm going to use a little bit of the anvil, but for the most part, I'm going to use a 12-ton hydraulic press. All right, so this is what we have so far. Very crude weapon. Now I just need to take it to the belt grinder and turn this into a dagger-like edge, and then this will be ready to go. World War I French nail. All right, there you have it. If you were in a pinch and you had to go raid a trench, you find whatever material you can in your trench and you make this very crude, on the spot World War I trench weapon, the French nail. A little handle, you'd stick your hand in there, and I'm wearing these gloves because it's still hot from the forge. But there you go. When World War I erupted in 1914, both sides expected a fast, mobile war. Instead, technological advances in firepower, especially the machine gun, artillery, and barbed wire, made offensive movement extremely costly. By late 1914, the Western Front had solidified into a vast network of trenches stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland. When night fell over the Western Front, the war changed shape. Artillery and machine guns dominated the daylight hours, but in the darkness, small groups of soldiers slipped across no man's land on silent missions, trench raids. These night attacks demanded a different kind of arsenal, perfectly suited to the brutal, close-quarters world of mud, wire, and shadow. The trench raiders carried many weapons: trench clubs, trench knives, pistols, sawed-off shotguns, submachine guns, grenades, and finally came a very dark category: silent weapons forged unofficially in the trenches. Blackjacks, saps, sharpened spades, and even weighted entrenching tools. By the time the war ended in 1918, trench raiding weapons had become an entire subculture of the battlefield, a blend of industrial production and frontline ingenuity, reflecting both the savagery and the improvisational spirit of soldiers trapped in mechanized warfare. These weapons tell a story not just of strategy and technology, but of the gritty, personal struggle for survival in the trenches of the First World War.